Now that I've saved these two movies into one movie and I've gone through Will's guitar to make sure it's in time with Ben's drums, I can then select this, delete it, and I can then drag in Ben and Will. So I pop that onto my timeline, zoom in a little bit, and then it is time to bring in Josh on the banjo. I can see Josh has got the clapping thing a bit wrong. Let's have a look. Okay, he's just done it differently. He's strummed along with each count that I've done. So I can trim that down if I want. I'm going to be able to line it up anyway. So that, I don't even need to trim it, do I? There we are. Move it back a little bit. Okay, that's roughly in line. Now, it might be that you can just use the spikes to line people up, and that's all you need to do. But I found in my experience, and there's Josh's speech there, I found in my experience that you need to just really listen to the music. So I'm going to come along here until there's more speech, until the banjo comes in. So the banjo doesn't come in till a little bit later in the song. So I know that Ben and Will are lined up. Before I do that, I've forgotten. I just need to make Josh's video a bit smaller. So I'm going to put him picture in picture again, bring him down to his little corner here. Pop him there, put a border and a shadow on, lovely stuff. And now let's just listen and see if the banjo's in time. It's not. So let's have another listen and see if I can decide whether it needs to go forwards or backwards. It sounds like it's a little bit early, and if you look at the spikes here, it looks like it's a little bit early. So I'm thinking if I move this one, zoom in a bit so I can do it a bit finer. If I move this one just to here, so only a millisecond or two, that's sounding much better. It still sounds like Josh's banjo is pushing the beat a little bit there. So I'm just going to move it one more little click there, this way. So I've moved him to the right, which means it's going to sound a bit later. Let's just hear how this sounds. So that's sounding like it's in time. That's sounding good. I'm happy with that. So just like with Will's guitar, what I now need to do is just come along forward in the track. So at 1:37, so I'm going to come to maybe 2:20-ish and check that we're in time. In fact, look, here there's some really good spikes. These are going to be really good for lining up. So let's have a listen. That's sounding pretty good. That's sounding pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to zoom in and just, I don't know. No, that looks about right. You can see that one is a bit after here, whereas this one and this one are perfectly in line, which tells me that actually maybe that's Josh's playing rather than the video format playing up. So I'm going to keep coming forward. Is it drifting out of time? Let's have a listen. Maybe. Let's see if we can just split that clip here. Move it down this way. See if that sounds better. Yeah, that's good. I'm happy with that. Still good? Really good. Okay, so now I'm going to come forward quite a way. 251, let's go even further, 305, okay. Yeah, that's sounding good. Okay, let's keep going. Four minutes in now. It's not sounding quite right now. So let's just come back a little bit. And again, sometimes it's difficult to know whether it's the player or the video format. But let's just have a listen to this bit. If I zoom in and have a look, maybe I've moved Josh too far forward. Maybe I shouldn't have moved him. So I'm going to press Command and Z now to move him back to where he was. And let's have a listen now that I've moved it back to where it was. Actually, that is sounding fine there. So maybe in that instance, it was just Josh making a bit of a rhythmical error, and maybe his video is just going to stay in line a bit better than Will's. Yeah, in fact, you know what, with 3.5 minutes in, I've split it that once, but other than that, it's sounding pretty good so far. Let's just whiz forward a little bit further. 4:25. That's sounding perfect. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, brilliant. And then we've got a little bit of speech there. Do I want to leave that in?
See you with the catfish!
I definitely want to leave that in. So I'm just going to cut Josh off there. So I'm happy with all of that. The only other thing to bear in mind is sometimes you want to change the volume of clips. So overall, so far, you remember I turned Ben down earlier because the drums were always a bit loud, and actually the guitar and the banjo are sounding pretty well balanced as they are at the moment. If at any point you do want to change just a small part of a clip, for example like here, Josh doesn't play. So let's mute that section of that, because otherwise I'm just going to have a hiss. So I'm going to split that clip there. I'm going to split it here as well. And then just that section, I'm going to highlight it, go to the speaker, and I'm going to click that one to mute it. And then that will just completely mute that section of Josh. It won't affect this bit or this bit. Similarly, I could say, well, actually, after he comes back in, I want him just to be a little bit louder. So I'm going to turn this up, and you can see that waveform really grows as I turn that up to 400%. I'm just going to turn it up to 114, just to give it a little bit of a boost. Let's hear that. Yeah, and the vocals are going to be even louder later on, but I want to sit the banjo a bit forward in the mix there. So I'm going to turn that volume up and leave it there for now. So I've gone through it. I now listen to the whole track all the way through, make sure that everything's in time, and I just edit things if I'm not happy with it. I might listen to it through and think, do you know, actually, I want to split it here and get the timing of this section a bit better. You can do that. Once you've saved this and it's all in one track, then you can't do that. So now is the time to make any changes in volume or timing or even where he is. So yeah, once I've done all that, I can go to File, Share, File, and once again, save it at the highest quality I can.